Off-roading is the main reason this new AT4X model has been added to the Sierra lineup this year, along with its elevated levels of luxury. With an MSRP of $77,000, it's right in the middle of F-150 Raptor and Ram TRX territory. But today, we're not comparing off-roading chops. We're going to see if you can sleep in it. Now, pickup trucks can be great to sleep in if you modify them. Put a rooftop tent on, put a cap on the back, and then you could sleep in the bed, rain or shine. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about how good is this almost $80,000 AT4X to sleep in from the factory.
So let's start with the interior of the truck. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, why not just start with the bed? It's literally named after what you sleep in at night. We'll get there in a minute. I like to start off on the inside because it's completely enclosed. You don't have to worry about weather. You don't have to worry about bugs unless you keep the windows open or other animals. So that's where I like to sleep if I'm going to be sleeping in a vehicle, is going to be inside. So let's measure this. There we go at the edge there. So we're right around 56 inches, so 4 inches shy of 5 feet tall. I myself am 5'7". I know a lot of people who are taller than me, so this isn't going to be an option for anybody who is taller than 5 feet, basically. I think with the doors shut and you're 5 feet tall, you could probably squeeze in here, but for most adults, it's just not going to be a viable option. Now for kids, maybe. If your kid is not quite 5 feet tall, this might be a place for them to be able to sleep. There's also an option in the interior down on the floor, so I'll show you that now. Now the AT4X does have kind of a handy feature. So what we've done, we've moved the front seats all the way forward, and now you can lift this section up. And it's really pretty much flat. There's a little bit of a bump here in the middle, which if you have a thick enough sleeping pad, I think you could make work. But let's measure and see how long it is. Now remember, the seats were 56 inches, so this is probably gonna be 5 feet at best. So I'm up against the door here, and up against where the door would be right here. So we're talking 5'3", 63 inches. Still not wide enough for someone to sleep comfortably. So that's not great. Now, since these seats are in the back, there's obviously no room for them to recline. I know some trucks do have lie flat seats, which in my opinion aren't the most comfortable, but it would sure as heck beat scrunching up here in the back. So let's hop into the front and see how those fare. So I'm gonna move the seat all the way back to give myself the most leg room. So this isn't gonna be where it normally is when I drive. Now let's start leaning back. All right, so now I've leaned this seat all the way back. No part of it is touching the rear seat. This is just as far back as it goes. And it is not a lie flat seat. It isn't uncomfortable. I've definitely taken naps sitting like this in a truck before, but it isn't how I want to get a good night's rest. I'm just in a reclined position and not laying down. And I'm a side sleeper, so if I was sleeping all night, I'd probably want to turn like this, and it's just not comfortable. So far, the AT4X interior, not great for sleeping in. Could you do it in a pinch? Yeah, definitely. But it's not how I'm going to want to spend a few nights while camping, especially if I'm coming back from a hike. I want to be relaxed. Let's go check out the bed and measure those dimensions. This is a GMC Sierra, so it has the multi-pro tailgate, so I'm going to use that. Stand a little bit closer here. Let's measure the length of this bed. So this isn't a 6-foot bed. This is actually a 5'10" bed, and it's pushed all the way up against, it's just shy of 70 inches. At 5'7", I could lay down in here no problem. But for someone who's taller, you will have to lay the tailgate down. The length with the tailgate open, 8 feet. So unless you're Andre the Giant, you should be pretty good sleeping in the back of this bed. Plus, you can put this up so you have, something to rest your feet against. That being said, without a cap on the back, you have nothing to prevent rain, snow, bugs, anything like that coming down, dive bombing you. So if you want to sleep in the back, definitely will fit. Definitely can fit comfortably with the tailgate down, almost regardless of how tall you are, but not the best solution because you're not inside the vehicle. All right, so length is not the only dimension that matters. Let's measure diagonally.
with the tailgate closed, you have roughly 90 inches or 7.5 feet, so no problem there. And then width, at its widest point in the bed, we're talking 71 inches, so almost 6 feet, but really we want to measure the narrowest part of the bed. So 50 inches at the narrowest. It's not super narrow, it's plenty of room for 2 people to sleep in the back, plus you get some areas that are wider. So 5 feet 10 inches length, 50 inches wide. Let's grab a sleeping bag and a sleeping pad and see how comfortable the bed of this truck is. Okay, we're back here with our trusty Therm-A-Rest Z-Rest sleeping pad. It's an accordion style sleeping pad. I like this a lot better than the ones that roll up, so let's fold this out. It's roughly 6 feet long, so it'll be a little long for this bed, but the nice thing is you can just fold up one section of it and it'll fit pretty well. I also have this synthetic 0-degree sleeping bag. I've actually used in videos before. I'm gonna kick off my shoes. Don't want any dirt getting in my sleeping bag or my sleeping pad. So yeah, I've actually used that synthetic sleeping bag before. About 5 years ago, Autoblog went to Iceland, and I brought these on a whim even though our van had a heater. And I'm sure glad that I did, because the van broke down on the side of the road and we were stranded for 18 hours overnight. It was sleeting all night. The heater didn't work, but still warm thanks to this sleeping bag. So they're also a lot cheaper than the down bag that I used in the last video. This 0-degree one I've had for a long time. I think it cost me somewhere around $100. I got it on sale because it's actually a left-hand zip sleeping bag, which if you don't care, I don't care, I'm right-handed, but left-hand zip's fine. I got it a lot cheaper than the right-hand zip. So my biggest concern, and I can feel it even through the top of this sleeping bag, is that the floor of the bed here is not flat. So I'm gonna be able to feel that even laying down. So if you're sleeping in the back of a truck, you're gonna want a much thicker, maybe like an air mattress or a much thicker sleeping pad than this one. So let's lay down in it. So another thing is that you're gonna want to get a pillow. Right now, I don't have one, and I wish I did, because otherwise I'm just lying flat. It'd be like lying flat on your mattress at home. So I would definitely bring along a pillow. Yeah, and I can feel the floor of this bed, you know, underneath both the sleeping bag and the sleeping pad. So it's not great. Plus, there are still the issues that I said before. The fact that you're open to all sorts of weather. So if we're talking wintertime, your heat is gonna be really, really hard to keep in. In fact, I would never recommend sleeping in the bed of a pickup truck in the winter. In the summer, you're gonna be dealing with bugs and possibly other animals around spring and fall too. So not the greatest to sleep in the bed. So the bed of the AT4X, while not comfortable to sleep directly on, does come with some creature comforts. We have an outlet here, as well as with this multi-pro tailgate, there's an easy step to get up. Plus there's built-in speakers, so you can actually play music through the bed. As far as interior storage, the AT4X ranks about average when it comes to pickups. With a good amount of cup holders, a sizable center console, and though a fridge isn't an option, a safe is if security is important to you. I think overall the AT4X, with the luxury on the inside, the added off-road capability, we have the speakers and the power back here, it's a great vehicle to take with you on a camping trip. I just don't think it's very comfortable to sleep in from the factory. Put a rooftop tent on the back, you're good to go, but that's not what we're talking about here. Unless you're short enough to sleep on the rear bench in the interior, or maybe on the floor in the interior, it's just not that comfortable of a truck to sleep in.